And it's Friday, October 20th, streakers, which means another week of streaking is almost complete. Depends, I guess, when you start and stop your week, doesn't it? Do you start it, stop it on Sunday, Saturday, Friday? Who knows? If it's the work week, obviously you've got Friday, Monday through Friday. But all of those things are important, and there's a reason why I'm talking to you about that, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. This is Jeff Downs, and this is the Streaking Podcast. As you think about the different streaks that you maintain in your life, there's a frequency by which you maintain those streaks. There's either daily streaks, weekly streaks, or monthly streaks. Now, this is going to sound a little bit tactical. However, I want to go into it because it's important as you understand this and shape your activities that, well, let's just put it this way. It took Jamie and I quite a while to figure out what it is I'm going to share with you right now. And the reason that it took a while to figure out, I think you'll hear, is because we really had to think about our activities and how we interacted, not only with each other as far as some of our team streaks or our shared streaks are, but also in our own personal life, in the sense of, for example, you may have a work week streak, which is Monday through Friday. You could also have a weekend streak. You could have a 3-day-a-week streak. And all of these different types of streaks are kind of odd to think about. And how do you account for them? Because what you want to do is be able to make a record and have that record kept in a place that you can get the information back. That's why we have the streaking app in the first place, is so that we know exactly how many days, weeks, or months in a row we've completed the particular task or activity that leads us to who we want to be. As we were developing and thinking about the ideas of streak and streaking and how to account for streaks that are not daily, daily streaks are easy. You can have a daily streak and know exactly, did I or not do the activity that day? What you define as your day is up to you, but it is a period of time that is usually from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. That's what I call my day. Obviously, those times vary as far as wake up to go to sleep, but as long as I've completed my daily streaks within that time frame, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, then I count it. I don't have a hard cutoff of 12 midnight. In fact, that's one of the areas where, as you look at some of the other streaking, or not streaking apps, there's not streaking apps, but let's call it the language apps or apps that have a streak incorporated in them. If you're going by their streak, they're always going to cut you off right at midnight, because they can't really do it any other way. They have to say, this is when the streak gets cut off. They're not going to build in functionality that asks you, when does your day end? Whereas the streaking app does. For example, my days go from basically 3 a.m. to 3 a.m. That's the 24-hour period of time that I say I'm going to complete my streak in. So it resets at 3 a.m. Monday morning and goes through to 3 a.m. Tuesday morning. The reason I do that is because there's a lot of times where, for whatever reason, the day's been long, there's things that I've been doing or asked to do till late, and therefore I don't get my streaks done at midnight. It takes me a little bit longer than that. And we have quite a few streakers out there that have similar situations. And honestly, you get to define your day however you'd like. So that's a daily streak. It's a 24-hour period of time. Now the question is, how do you work with something that you want to do weekly? And let's work first of all with the work week streak. When we were setting up the streaking app, we were trying to figure out, how do you account for a work week streak? In other words, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, add in the variable of, I'm going to go on vacation, and therefore I'll have 2 weeks of not doing something in the sense of it's a work week streak, or it's related specifically to my professional life. And how do we account for if it's 2 days in the week? Or, there's something that I want to do that's the last half of the week. All of these different variables came in. And the key here that we want to do, and the principle of streaking, is to be consecutively consistent. When you have something that you want to complete within a week, be it a work week, be it exercise 3 times a week, whatever it is, what we do is what we don't do is lock you into the day that you have to do it. Now, you may want that. And in fact, we're looking at that potentially having that in the app, is to have the day that you do that. But what we really found is that a work week streak or a week streak is you complete a certain number of activities in a week. For example, one of the very earliest streak, or the original streak that Jamie and I have, is to run or walk at least 1 mile 6 days in the week. Now, at first, we were thinking, well, you got to mark Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way through the week. We don't run on Sunday, or we don't have the run walk streak on Sunday. So really, it is not a daily streak. We do it 6 days in the week, but not the full week. Hopefully this is making sense. And as Jamie and I were talking about this and really trying to figure it out, what we realized is that, well, we just do this 6 times a week. Now, we happen to count it as every day except for Sunday, but it's not a daily streak. It's actually a weekly streak. And so in the streaking app, what we have is complete a mile run at least 6 times. And I specify mine as to say every day, or for 6 days in the week, walk or run at least 1 mile. Hopefully this is getting clearer, not more confusing. What I now have is a weekly streak where I do something 6 times in the week. Now, this does give someone the flexibility. If they say, I just want to run 6 miles in a week, they could do it on one day and they run the 6 miles, or they could run 3 days and do 2 miles each of those days. And the week is the consistency measure. The number of times I do something in a week, that is not the metric that you are counting the streak on. The streak is, did I do that activity 3, 4, 2, 5 times in a week? And if I did, then it counts. If I did not, then it doesn't. The reason this is important is because within a week, at some of the streaks that you have in your life, you're going to need the flexibility. You're going to need the opportunity. If I'm working 2 days this week, and I have, for example, my professional life, ask for or receive at least 1 introduction, or ask for or receive at least 5 introductions in a week, then I may want to do all 5 of those on Monday and then not worry about it. Now you're asking me, well, Jeff, what if I have a 2-week vacation? This is where you're going to have to ask yourself, as far as introductions, and this is where I get to the place where, you know what, I'm probably going to a place where I'm going to be meeting a lot of people. And in meeting those lot of people, I can ask for, I'd like to introduce myself. Who are you? And that's an introduction. I can do that, and I could probably meet 5 people within the vacation time. What you're wanting to do is build your consecutive muscle so that you continue to do that every single week. And when you do that every single week, the momentum builds up. And by the way, I've met some of the most amazing, phenomenal people when I've been on vacation that have helped my not only personal life, but also my professional life. Therefore, you may look at and say, I want to keep this streak alive always. And it's a week streak, not week W-E-A-K, but week W-E-E-K, where you're going to complete the activity at least 3 to 5 times in the week. Now, this is true also for a monthly streak. You may have something that you want to do 2 times in a month or 3 times in a month. When the month comes, when you start the month, and we from the 1st to the 30th, 31st, or next year it's going to be the 29th for February. If you've completed it within the month, then the streak stays alive. It doesn't matter if you've done it on the 2nd day of the month or the last day of the month. You completed it, and it stays alive. All of this is important for the psychology of winning. You give yourself the most opportunity to win. And the reason you're going to do that is because you don't know what's ahead in life. You don't know what the variabilities are. You don't know how you will feel. You don't know what it is you're going to be up against. And therefore, you give yourself the most opportunity to win. That's why law number 1 is critical. Make it laughably simple, because you give yourself the most opportunity to win. The consistency of completing at least one development activity daily, or reading at least one development flashcard every day, that consistency builds through time. Recently, Jamie just talked with another friend. If you heard the podcast a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that Jamie had a streaker friend that said, I thought I was going to do everything automatic, and so I stopped streaking, and I realized it doesn't get automatic. She just had a similar experience with another friend who said, you know what, I thought I had these things, and I didn't. Any activity that is part of your growth, progress, improvement, who you want to be, even some of those activities that you want to maintain something, are not going to be automatic. They will not get to that place where you don't have to think about them. In fact, you don't want them to. You want to be deliberate and intentional. The way that you become deliberate and intentional is by giving yourself the opportunity to win in every way possible. If you look at exercise and say, there's no way I can do that every single day. In other words, right now, where I'm at in my life, I am not able to exercise every day. However, as I think about it, I may be able to do it 3 times a week. And in that 3 times a week, my exercise is going to consist of doing a squat or doing a couple of squats or something that is laughably simple. And you get that consistency going. That's the critical part. It's important because you override your brain's natural rejection response and are able to do the activity. Now, there's another rejection response that comes up, and it comes from outside of you. It's external, even though it has internal forces that bear on you. And the external thing is, you're not doing enough. Now, I talked about this 2 podcasts ago as far as it's enough. Whenever you do the laughably simple and you do it consecutively, meaning day, week, or month, you do it consecutively, it is enough. Don't tell yourself it's not. Don't talk yourself into, if it's not 100% every single time, it's not going to happen. Because when you go to that level, then most of the time it's going to be 0. You'll tell yourself, well, I got to do 100%. I've got to be so intense, so focused, so over the top on this that it makes a huge difference in my life. No pain, no gain. The question is, where is the pain? And I would offer to you this. The pain is in the consecutive everyday activity, the consistency every single day. Don't put the pain in the activity itself. In saying that, you can have pain. There can be times where, you know what, I'm feeling it today. I'm going to go for it. One of the areas when I started running, streak running, I started to look at my whole running life differently. And the way that I looked at it was not, can I get a personal best? Can I run tomorrow? So on the days when I really want to push it, when I want to go over the top, there's moments in the run itself where my body talks to me. And it's either my knees or my calves or my hips or any number of lower extremities. Sometimes it might be a little bit of the back, but usually it's in the legs somewhere, screaming out saying, I don't think you want to go this fast. Now, you know the point. There's a book that I read called Brain Training for Runners. And what they were suggesting in the book is that you intuitively know, if you listen to your body, you intuitively know when you're pushing it too hard. There are all kinds of heart monitors and on the watches that are out there, you've got when you're in what type of zone. What I've found is just listening to the aches and pains where they're at gives me the opportunity to increase or decrease the intensity of the particular activity. Mine happens to be running for physical exercise. It's also true, though, in any of the intellectual exercises or emotional or social exercises. You know when it's too much and therefore can come back. What the streak does is it helps me to realize that I'm at that point where if I push farther, I feel that it's my body's going to break down to the point where I won't be able to run tomorrow. That's when I start to back it off. Because more important for me is the streak and how long I can go, not increasing my personal best in that day. I'm not a professional runner. Now, as a professional runner, go do it. I mean, do what you need to do. But for anyone else that's not a professional runner, that's not a professional exerciser, that's not a professional trainer, that's wanting to just keep a healthy and fit lifestyle, then streak it. That's true with any of your other pursuits as well. In my professional life, this is part of my professional life, I do increase the intensity and frequency from time to time and push myself harder because my professional floor is probably different than your professional floor within specific areas. So as we go all the way back to where we started, day, week, month, when you look at your streaks, give yourself the opportunity to win. Give yourself the largest opportunity to win and know that the work, the pain, the effort, the energy is going to go in to the consistency, the consecutiveness, the everyday. That's where it's at, and that's what pays off. If you want to learn more about streaking, buy the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold, or you can download the Streaking app. The Streaking app has in it everything you need to set up winning streaks. Go to learn quickly about the 3 laws of streaking. Go to the feed page to see what people are doing and their proofs that they're posting on their streaks. Check out the communities. Invite some friends to come along with you and adopt a streak together. In that community, you can post to just that community so that you can have friends talking back and forth what it is that you're doing. The Streaking app embodies the whole streaking methodology, and more importantly, it gives you what you need to make yourself better every single day. Until we talk again, keep streaking.